Hello everyone and welcome to Law and Court Cases and another episode of my true crime series. In today's video we are going to be talking about the case of Chris Watts, otherwise known as the Watts family murders. A sad case that has so many factors. There is a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into the video. In 2010, Shanann Ruzick and Chris Watts had their first interaction. Chris had sent Shanann a friend request over Facebook that Shanann accepted. During this time, Shanann was dealing with health problems, struggling with an ongoing condition called lupus. It had left the young woman feeling sick and weak, as well as mentally making her feel back down about herself. Shanann said in a video posted to Facebook before her death, when discussing her relationship with Watts, "Oh, what the heck, I'm never going to meet him. Well, one thing led to another, and 8 years later we have 2 kids, we live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that ever happened to me." The couple were married in November of 2012. The couple went on to grow their family, having 2 daughters, Bella Marie Watts, born on December 17, 2013, and Celeste Catherine C.C. Watts, born on July 17, 2015. Shanann really considered her children to be blessings, as due to her health struggle she thought at a time in her life that this would not be possible. In 2018, Chris was employed by Anadarko Petroleum, while Shanann worked from home selling a product called Thrive for a multi-level marketing company named Level. This allowed Shanann to work from home and take care of the couple's 2 young children. By all outward appearances, the couple's marriage was strong. However, in the summer of 2018, Shanann noticed that things had changed. She said that he had changed and didn't know who he was. She texted a friend on August the 7th. "He hasn't touched me at all week, kissed me, talked to me except for when I'm trying to figure out what is wrong. We've never had a problem in our relationship like this. I just want to cry." Those who worked closely with Chris began to see a difference in him at this time. The once affable father who kept pictures of his daughters on his phone soon began to change completely. In an interview with People, Brian Spence, a contractor who worked with Watts for several years, told them, "Things changed, he changed. I watched him get more and more unhappy with his life. He went from being a friendly guy to being withdrawn and angry." He continued to say, "I saw him lose his temper over little workplace annoyances." Spence continues, "He had an irritable side with the contractors. He would be combative." Watts began to attend more social gatherings with work colleagues, attending happy hours after work and always wanting to leave after everyone else was ready to go. His colleagues wanted to get home to their loved ones, whilst Chris did not seem to want to return home. It was around this time that Shanann told Chris that she was once again pregnant, this time with a little boy who she wanted to call Nico. Instead of bringing joy, this did not have the effect it should have had. Instead, it created a stronger rift within the family, and Chris had begun to look for happiness elsewhere, as he started an affair with a work colleague called Nicole Kissinger. Kissinger claims that Watts told her Shanann and he were in the process of going through a divorce, reportedly unaware that she was in fact the other woman. Shanann had grown suspicious of her husband's change in behaviour, claiming he was now distant. During this time, the couple ended up spending 6 weeks apart. This was in July. By August 8th, Shanann was telling friends that Chris wanted a divorce, while she didn't. She said that he had told her he was scared to death about the baby on the way, saying he didn't want it. She added he had changed towards her and he was cold and physically distant. Shanann left for a work trip in Arizona. She sent a friend a draft of a letter she was writing to Chris about their relationship, saying how much she had missed him whilst they were apart and how painful it had been for her. But clearly the feelings were not mutual, because while she was away, Chris had reportedly hired a babysitter for Bella and Celeste and took his new love interest out, shamelessly cheating on his loving wife whilst his children were home. On August 13th, 2018, Shanann was reported missing by her friend and colleague Nicola Atkinson. When Shanann missed a doctor's appointment, Nicola called and asked police to perform a wellness check. Shanann, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and her 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, weren't home, and Shanann wasn't answering messages from either Nicola or Chris. As they searched the family's Denver, Colorado home, they found Shanann's phone between sofa cushions, her bag in the kitchen, and her car on the property. The next day, she and her 2 young girls were declared missing. The FBI and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the CBI, joined the investigation the next day. Watts initially told police that he had no idea where his family might be and that he had not seen his wife since 5:15 a.m. the previous day when he left for work. With his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters missing, Watts made televised pleas for their safe return, trying to promote the image of a concerned father and husband, but police soon began to question his story. He did not come across as a distressed or concerned husband and father. He instead seemed cold and calculated, spewing what is said was facts and pleading his innocence. He told Denver 7 a day after his family was reported missing, "She wasn't here, the kids weren't here, nobody was here. It took his mistress coming forward to push the police to formally consider that he was capable of murder. Just 2 days after the girls had gone missing, Nicole Kissinger was watching the news and it was reporting on the disappearance of Shanann and the girls. Nicole told police that her affair with Chris was going on, and seeing him on the news made her realise that he'd lied about the state of his marriage and the fact that Shanann was pregnant. Although before she came forward, she did consider her own public image first. She took to Google searching questions like, "Did people hate Amber Frey?" She typed into an internet search, invoking the name of a woman who was having an affair with the infamous serial killer, Scott Peterson. He murdered his wife, Lacey, and their unborn child in 2002. Kissinger decided that coming forward was the best option. She told authorities that she believed that Watts was going through an amicable divorce. People searched high and low for the Watts girls, and unfortunately it would not have a happy ending. Watts was arrested on August 15, 2018. According to the arrest affidavit and footage from a security camera in the interview room, he failed a polygraph test and subsequently confessed to murdering Shanann. He asked to speak to his father before confessing. According to the affidavit, Watts was having an affair and claimed he asked for a separation from Shanann. During the investigation, he claimed that Shanann had strangled the girls in response to his request for separation and that he had strangled her in a fit of rage and transported the bodies to a remote oil storage site leased by his employer, Anadarko Petroleum. This was all done in an attempt, once again, to make an innocent victim look like the real bad guy in the situation. Watts was fired by the company on August 15th, the day of his arrest. The authorities located the bodies of the Watts family on the oil storage site, situated approximately 3 miles north of Rogan, on August 16th. The girls' bodies were found in crude oil storage tanks, while Shanann was buried in a shallow grave nearby. On August 21st, Watts was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, including an additional 1 count per child citing a death of a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age and a defendant was in a position of trust, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. He was denied bail at his first court appearance. At a later hearing, his bail was set for $5 million, and he was being required to put down a 15% deposit of this to be released. The case has been connected in the media to a crime of family annihilation, otherwise known as familicide. Many of these crimes occur in August before school starts, which may delay detection and investigation. According to former FBI profiler Candice DeLong, cases such as the Watts are rare because family annihilators usually commit suicide after the murders, an action that Watts claimed he had contemplated out of guilt of his actions. It wasn't until 2019 that the police believed a true telling of the events occurred. In a letter, Chris confessed to the killing was premeditated, rather than committed in a fit of rage that he'd previously claimed. He said he attempted to cause Shanann to miscarry by slipping oxycodone as he thought it would make it easier to leave her. He told the investigators that Nicole Kissinger never asked him to get rid of his family, but their relationship may have contributed to his actions. After he strangled his pregnant wife, Watts said Bella, the older daughter, came into the bedroom clutching a blanket. In a chilling retelling of the gruesome crime, Watts said he strangled Shanann in their bed after he told her the marriage was over and she would never see the children again. He said his wife correctly suspected he was having an affair, but he did not admit to it before he was killing her. Bella asked Chris what was wrong with her mum, with Watts claiming she wasn't feeling well. He said Bella watched as he wrapped the body in a bedsheet and began crying as he pulled it down the stairs of their home. Watts said he put her body on the floor of the truck's back seat, and when he went back inside, the youngest daughter, Celeste, was also awake. He said he put the girls in the back seat of the truck, and they occasionally napped on each other's legs as he drove. Each child was holding a blanket, and Celeste had also brought a stuffed animal. Watts told authorities he pulled Shanann's body from the truck as the girls asked, "What are you doing to Mummy?" He then told how he went back to the truck, using Celeste's own blanket to smother her to death as Bella watched from the seat beside her. He put his youngest daughter's body in an oil tank before returning to the truck and using the same method to smother Bella, his eldest daughter. He told police her last words were "Daddy, no," as she struggled. During his initial confession, Chris marked on a photo of the oil field with the location of the bodies. Investigators drove out on August 16th at 11 p.m. They excavated the dirt where they found Shanann. Shanann was curled up as if just thrown in, said David Maloney, Colorado Bureau of Investigation's laboratory manager at the Denver Forensic Science Laboratory. It was almost discarded like trash and then covered with dirt, showing his complete disregard for his wife and the mother of his children. Watts pled guilty to the murders on November 6th. The death penalty was not put forward by the district attorney on the request of Shanann's family, who did not wish for any further deaths. They were supportive of his decision to accept the plea deal. On November 19, 2018, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive and 2 concurrent, without the possibility of parole. He received an additional 48 years for the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and 36 years for 3 charges of tampering with the deceased body. His sentences began immediately. This is the sad story of the murders of Shanann, Bella and Cece Watts. This was heavy and hard to record, and I appreciate it would be able to make it to the end of this video. My heart goes out to the family and those affected by this loss. If you enjoy my content, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.